We're recording. You're listening to the Tune Up and Jam podcast. Ready? Go.
We are Tune Up and Jam. This is episode 6 with special guest Alexa Merrill.
Tune Up and Jam.
All right, tune up, turn up, get down, and start jamming. Once again, hello and half a day. It's the Tune Up and Jam podcast. My name is Rich. You can turn that down now, Francis.
Oh, is that what you do? Hey,
Yeah.
half a day, Rich.
Thank you. Half a day, Francis. To my right is the Francis, the Francito, half a day.
Half a day, Rich.
And to my left, immediately, as always, is the wonderful Chris.
I'm dying to know. Half a day.
Well, I'm glad you asked because, Francis, you want to take over this one?
This is how you say, this is a greeting from Guam in the Chamorro language.
Chamoran. I've been waiting for it.
Yeah.
Chamorro.
That's
Come on.
not Mark Chamorro,
No.
but Chamoran.
Busting out on a football reference.
I'm sorry.
And directly across from us today, we are delighted to have Alexa Merrill. She's a local singer-songwriter from L.A. Hi, Alexa.
Hi, guys. How you
Oh,
doing?
we're doing great. You know what? I got to say first, I got to get that out there. You contacted us a while back to, see if you can come on, and we're so delighted to have you. And I wish we could have had you on earlier. But scheduling and things like that kind of got in the way, and I feel really bad about it.
That's summer.
But
Yeah.
you know what?
Gotta be at the beach.
The vacations. But that's the easy excuse, and I'm sure Chris will agree with me on this one. It would be easy to say that he was away, I was away, but I really think I want to call out Francis on this one. I think it's his fault. Really. I know Chris will agree with me.
I will.
Francis is that guy, and you probably already picked up on this from being here for, the past 10, 15 minutes. He's that guy who's just uber prepared for anything that happens. I mean, you go to a gig with this guy, if you need duct tape, drum key, a spoon, anything like
You're
that,
hired.
he's the guy.
You're
but
hired to
this
be in
whole
my band.
nice guy
Good enough
image,
for
this
me.
whole Mr. Everything image is, I'm not buying it anymore, Francis. I'm going to blame him. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, he's like MacGyver.
Yeah.
I mean, he could like chewing gum and a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Mary
He-
Poppins.
Right. He can have
Comes
like
out.
your whole rig fixed and take out the buzz, and you're good to go. So.
Yeah. But he didn't fix this. He couldn't get you on earlier. So I'm blaming Francis.
Nice work, Francis.
Yeah, thanks,
Or
Francis.
maybe he was just holding off so everything was perfect for
Thank
my
you,
arrival.
Alexa.
There you go.
Alexa, I really like you already.
Thank you.
Alexa, now let's go here. We got two over here.
Two against one.
Yeah, come on now.
I always go for the underdog. You got to root for the underdog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right back at you.
Anyway, but I'm a drummer.
I know. That's true. Automatically more
what bigger
street cred.
underdog do you have than a drummer? I mean, come on. They
But
give me
do you sing while you drum?
I can.
Then you're in. Deal.
But I don't know if they do that just, to call out like why drummers shouldn't have a microphone, because I don't know how good I sound when I do it, but I
Oh.
do it. So, no, I try.
That's why
And then-
we gave him the mic now.
Yeah,
so
they
he
give
could
me
do
the
all
mic now so I can do the, show how big of an idiot a real drummer is. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, don't give a guy.
This is this is opportunity to talk right here.
Right
So.
here. This is it, and I'm just going for it. Anyway, so we have Alexa here, and we are delighted, like I said, to have you.
Thank you.
So I was checking out some of your YouTube things, and just got really impressed by what you do. So why don't you tell us, like, what you do?
Yes.
and how you got to do it, and all that stuff.
I've been writing music since I was 8 years old. Take that as you will. My first song, "School's Out," was a huge hit in my head. No,
Alice
but
Cooper?
no, I'm not that cool until I got a little older. Yeah, and then it was just about trying to find my voice. I always sang. And then finding an instrument. So I started with drums at 11. I played a little piano, could not figure out the syncopation of it, which was odd because I loved drumming, so it didn't make sense. And then at 15 and a half, I picked up the guitar. So that really helped my songwriting. And I've just been hustling for the last, 5 years. I've had 3 EPs. I do these treehouse sessions on YouTube that you were talking about. in my best friend's treehouse, and we just go up there with her little flip cam, and she films me and has to listen to me sing these covers.
I did wonder about the background. I thought it was really nice.
Yeah, she has this awesome treehouse in her front yard, and I was like, that's the best set we could have, you know? So it's just, you know, all the foliage and the greenery. It just looks awesome up there.
So when you started the different instruments, did you have family members introduce them to you? Did you have friends? How did that come into your awareness?
Yeah, my entire family is in the entertainment business. So I grew up in a concert venue, and I've been surrounded by music. My grandpa was a drummer, so it's in our blood. As we like to tell my mom, it skips a generation because she can't sing. Sorry, Mom. But yeah, so
she can appreciate good music.
Appreciates good music. That is true.
She just passed it on to you. She said, I don't need it. It's for my kids.
She's saving up that whole talent.
And I recently found out that my grandpa on my dad's side was a songwriter. So I was like, no one ever told me all of this. So I only thought it came from my mom, but I guess both sides have participated in it.
So at home, did you have lessons? Or was it kind of a sit around, show me a little bit here and there? Or
my parents don't play, so it was definitely lessons from a professional. Mm-hmm. There's an awesome little music store by my house called Kay's Music Scene that I went to them for, you know, drums, piano, guitar, everything. It was like, okay, I'm moving on to the next thing, got a new teacher. But yeah, I had professional voice lessons. A good friend of mine taught me how to take care of my voice and warm up and vocalize and things like that. So I'm a very diligent and dedicated person in a lot of senses with my schoolwork, with whatever it was I do at the time. So I like to have a plan and be taught and do something where I can practice and get better and better and see the progress happen. So, yeah.
By the way, great choice on guitar, sticking with guitar. Just want to add that. But when you practice, do you have different practice regimens? Like, do you work on like certain chords? Do you work on scale? Do you combine that with your vocal exercises? How does that work for you?
So my guitar teacher was the best human on the planet, because I would go in and I would say, I don't want to do the scale. I don't want to learn the chord. Like, please, just I'll play my iPod and I want to learn this song, and I want to I want to be able to sing it and play at the same time. And he would say, okay, and then he would introduce me to some scales and force, okay, today we have to do this. And I would say, why are you making me do this? But for me, it comes from learning a song, learning those chords, and then applying that and being able to sing. I have to see some progress and some product come of it. Otherwise, you know, I get discouraged. But as I'm getting older, I'm forcing myself to try to hone in on the craft of the technique.
So you were introduced to some theory?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. I can read tab, and I wish that I was more diligent. Maybe I'll go study like, what's his face? The drummer from Red Hot Chili Peppers. Go back to USC music school.
Chad Smith.
Music school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think no matter what level you are, you're always learning.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm interested in backtracking for a second when you said that you learned from a friend. You know, part of the podcast that we like to talk to people about is the educational piece. And we talked about protecting our ears a couple episodes ago.
Absolutely.
How about protecting your voice and warming up and stuff? What do you do to make sure, you know, if you do multiple gigs and you're obviously the lead singer and you probably sing all the material in the band. So how do you make sure, like, when you show up, man, you're going to come correct and be ready to roll?
I love that question, and I love your voice saying it. As a matter of fact, you have like the best, richest voice. Yeah, protecting my voice is my main. I freak out. Like, if I go out on the week, if we're in a bar, I'm like, I can't talk. Everyone's like, you're ridiculous. You don't have a show for 2 weeks. I'm like, no, I don't. I have to be quiet.
Well, she's real friendly.
Yeah, they're like, let's not bring her out next time. But I warm up every morning. So for me, I get a hot cup of water. Just to keep myself lubricated. And then I'd run through these vocal warm-ups. So it's a lot of consonants, or like something like gug, 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 gug. And you go up and up and up the scale. And I do it and annoys everybody. And everyone I know has heard me do them before. And they'll chime in. I'm like, let's get to your middle. Let's get to your head voice. But yeah, I really wanted to understand my voice, because I wanted to have control and wanted to know where I was going to go at every step of the way. But it's very important to me to protect my voice. That's my main instrument. So.
No doubt, and that's really cool. And it's really interesting to hear somebody who is so diligent in understanding that aspect. Have you ever lost your voice for a gig?
Yeah, actually, back in February, I got really sick. I had a sinus infection, and I had a show coming up, and I was freaking out because I do not perform if I'm not 100%. And I was drinking juices, and I was on antibiotics and trying all these remedies, and it was raspy, but I was glad that I did the gig because I proved to myself that, okay, I can get there if I'm 80%, if I'm 90%. It's maybe not going to be my best show, but I need to know what to do, because if I'm touring, there's going to be off days. You're going to be on a bunk, you're on a bus with all these bunks, and the guy above you's coughing and the guy below. So it's like you have to be able to protect yourself, but also know how to handle it if your voice does fail you.
Yeah, it's such a cool, to me, as an educational thing, listening to other people, because you hear stories of like Pavarotti going in and he has temperature controlled limousines and he doesn't talk and he wraps his throat in this as this opera star, and then in the 80s and the 90s, cats were going out and snorting cocaine and being up for 3 days in a row and couldn't sing at all. And then you hear the tales of these terrible shows that they pull off, and there's somewhere in there's a happy medium. We can't all be Pavarotti and afford the luxury of taking care of our voice like that, but it's cool to hear the different exercises that you do and kind of the diligence to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And do you approach, I saw you, because you work with a band as well as solo.
Yeah.
Do you approach the two like different, like if you have a show, I saw you played like at Molly Malone's or something like that. Do you approach that differently than like when you're warming up with your voice or getting ready for that gig? You approach it differently, or you
not so much in the warm-ups. It's a difference in rehearsing with the boys as opposed to me playing an acoustic gig, but I've loved having a band.
How often do you have to tell the guitar player and the drummer to turn it down?
No, it's I can't say this, my bass player. My dad has been yelling at me and saying, we got to take Vinny's bass down a little bit. I'm like, I never really noticed it. Yeah, Vinny. Sorry, Vinny. Love you. Please
keep it pumping, Vinny.
Yeah. No, they're pretty good. I have a wildly talented band, and they really listen to me, and they're like, I'll be in there and say, let's do a cover. What do you guys think of Roxanne? They're like, you're a band. What do you want us to play?
So it is a steady group of the same people.
Yeah. For right now. I mean, they've all have their side projects, but they've agreed to help me out. I was playing acoustically for about a year, just all around LA, State Social House, and House of Blues before it got torn down on Sunset. Yeah. R.I.P.
Shed a tear.
Moment of silence.
Yeah. Yes.
So I played there a bunch, and, I really understood what it takes to put on an acoustic show and how you have to keep the energy up. And a lot of my songs were singer-songwriter, mid-tempo or ballads. And so I was like, I got to write some faster stuff because I'm losing the crowd, or I'd break out a Beyonce cover or something like that. But with the band, it's completely different. It's my music and how I want to play it, and it already is brought to life by their drums and bass and guitar.
So do you prefer the energy of the band?
Absolutely.
Or do you?
And I've always wanted to go in the rock avenue and be, in that female rock category, because I find there's so few, I think, few rock female artists.
Speaking of that, so who would you consider your influences? Or who do you admire?
Firstly, I would have to say pay homage to Alanis Morissette.
Nice.
Hands down. Jagged Little Pill.
I was just listening to her a couple of days ago while I was hiking.
Yep.
Some of that stuff from Jagged Little Pill.
Love Alanis. Grace Potter and the Nocturnals.
Just listened to her
or
today.
Or just Grace Potter. Her new record just came out.
Yeah.
Who else? Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac. But I was raised on a lot of R&B. So in the house, it was Stevie Wonder and Luther Vandross and Michael Jackson and Janet, all of those people. So I always like to, I think it's great because I feel like my voice is R&B influenced, a lot of the runs and the things, trills and things I do. But when I write a song or when I think about being on stage, I envision having an electric guitar and just, rocking out. in leather pants.
I just got to say, your parents are awesome.
They are.
For all the music that you just mentioned right now.
They are.
Yeah.
So break it down. In when we say you're from the Los Angeles area, that's
So
a big area.
elusive.
So where in? Do you mind saying where? Like what part of LA are you from?
I am a Valley girl, San Fernando Valley. My dad, both of my parents actually grew up around Van Nuys, Studio City, Sherman Oaks area.
Right on.
So I grew up in Woodland Hills and went to schools out there. All my friends, we still hang out in the Valley, and they try to get us to go out all the time. I'm like, let's branch out. Let's go see other places. But yeah, I love the Valley.
Valley through and through.
Through and through. And we're a dying breed, I find.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm not from the Valley, so I'm not even from LA originally.
Exactly.
So
Ohio?
no,
Close.
Pennsylvania.
I just
Very
guess
close.
Ohio all the time.
It's close enough to everything, right? Like
Yeah.
it's somewhere. It's only everything's like 2 states away.
Do you know
from
one of these days you're going to get it right on, and then they're going to
Yeah.
freak out.
You'd be like,
They're like,
How'd you know? What is it about me?
yeah.
what?
Yeah, those people from Ohio, they got a certain funk to it.
My producer's from Ohio, so I love him dearly. Sorry.
What? I want to kind of also backtrack, just like Chris asked a question talking about your voice and stuff like that. We also had an episode a few episodes back talking about how you meet people to jam with, and you were talking about the band that you have. Where did you meet these guys? How did you meet them?
It's a great story. I mean, I have always been a very introverted person. So I never really sought out anybody else. I've always written by myself and played by myself, but I always wanted to have a band. I just couldn't find my people. So as I got a little bit older, I think it's a maturity thing, opening yourself up to that is part of it. But I'm fortunate enough to work at the Wiltern Theater down in Koreatown, and these boys all work with me. And they're, I said, I really want to put a band together. And one guy said, I play drums, I play guitar, I play bass. Great, we have a band. They're okay, when's the show? Book the show. I'm like, wait, you guys really want to do this? Yes, book a show and we'll rehearse. I'm like, okay.
It's nice when it comes together organically, isn't it?
Yeah. And for me, I'm a very, I don't like to force anything. So I'm a hustler in a few senses, but I'm not about to go pound the pavement and go on Craigslist. It freaks me out to be like, I need a bass player. Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
Craigslist is a
That's
scary
another
place.
podcast.
Yeah, right.
But the funny thing is, we did meet.
We all met on Craigslist.
Did we?
Yeah.
We did. Oh my god.
I mean, I should try.
Oh, we got some stories we're not going to repeat here.
Yeah.
No, I will record.
we end up saying we met on Craigslist, but of course we don't tell all the horror stories that preceded that.
The other
So,
people you
the
met
other
on
people, yeah.
Craigslist.
So it's all good. So we'd love to have you play a song for us,
Sure.
if you can, and let's go ahead and set that up, and we'll get you going.
Awesome.
Okay. How are you? How's it sound for you?
We good.
So Alexa, what's the name of the song you're going to play for us now?
This song is called Lockdown, and it's off of my new EP, Heart Shaped Clock, and it's available on iTunes now. I'm a little unstable, I'm a little confused. I'm a little bit damaged, feeling broken and used. And you're a little bit dangerous, so maybe that will be my excuse for why I'm calling so late, saying sure I can be there in 2. Oh, I've been hurt before when I thought I was sure about a situation, but somewhere along our wires got crossed and lost in translation. That's the problem with love, everybody's got their own agenda. So I got my heart this time around, but I'm keeping my feelings locked down. Whoa, 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 keeping my feelings locked down. Whoa, 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 keeping my feelings locked down. So you're a little bit shallow, and I guess I am too. 'cause you don't have much to say, but you're sure fun to do. And I'm not looking for serious, no roses, chocolates, or I love yous. Just a hot boy to play with and a way to kill a long afternoon, if you know what I'm saying. Oh, I've been hurt before when I thought I was sure about a situation, but somewhere along our wires got crossed and lost in translation. That's the problem with love, everybody's got their own agenda. So I'll guard my heart this time around, but I'm keeping my feelings locked down. Whoa, 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 keeping my feelings locked down. Whoa, 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 keeping my feelings locked down. Don't make it more than it is, 'cause my heart's still sore from what he did. So you're a risk I won't be taking. I'm keeping my feelings locked down, down. Oh, I've been hurt before when I thought I was sure about a situation, but somewhere along our wires got crossed and lost in translation. That's the problem with love, everybody's got their own agenda. So I guard my heart this time around, but I'm keeping my feelings locked down. Whoa, 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 keeping my feelings locked down. Whoa, 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 keeping my feelings locked down.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Great. Awesome.
Very nice.
Applause track.
I was going to say, it's still going. Nice. Francito.
All right.
Fred Norris.
Well, I had to say, I had to keep myself from rocking out more than I could just hear the whole entire band behind you. Just, you and like the energy was there that made me want to kind of rock out a little bit more than I actually was just sitting in my chair. And I think I saw you trying to keep yourself,
Out of the
you're like, you
corner
want
of
to,
my eye.
you want to kind of like rock out to that. And it was like,
Yeah.
all right, we're in a little tiny situation.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let her, but I wanted to and you too, like just.
I started thinking of it because of the forum and because of everything too, thinking of it in terms of a songwriter and like what you came up with first. Like, did you come up with the riff first? You come up with the lyrics first? Did you get into it and then be like, oh, I got to put a bridge in here and then write the bridge, or did the bridge come first and then you wanted to write something around it? Like, how did that? So for that particular song, how'd that go for you?
Yeah, I usually write in a very linear fashion. It's usually the same thing for me. I feel inspired, I pick up the guitar, and the words and the melody come out at the same time as I'm finding the chords. But this song I actually wrote in my sleep, believe it or not. Not my sleep, but I was waking up and I heard this melody and I started writing on my iPhone notes, just typing away all the lyrics, which I never write a song without knowing the chords, because how would I play it? So I just had this melody and I just was singing that chorus and the woes and all that. And it all organically kind of just happened. I was getting my hair dyed and I was like still typing the notes. And then I went to pick up my guitar and I was like, okay, what could I possibly play? And for me, a lot of times it just finds itself. I think I have like a sixth sense where or a past life where I already wrote the songs and it's just coming back to me, because I wish that I had a more, formulaic way of doing it where I could be like, yes, this is how, but it's honestly, it just pours out.
Bridge
at
included?
times.
Like, I always wonder about that because it's
The
kind of...
bridge is always the hardest part for me.
Right.
So a lot of times if you listen to my music, there's like, oh, this is the instrumental breakdown during here, or the repeat. This one, the bridge, it just came, it's always the last to come for sure. I usually write verses first, and then getting the chorus or the hook is pretty, difficult because I'm playing around with so many different melodies until I find the right one. And then, the bridge is always like, do I need a bridge? Because I'm also a very wordy songwriter and a lengthy song. I used to write 5-minute songs. I've finally gotten them down to 3-4 minutes. So I'm always like, does the bridge really need to be in there? So yeah, but this one, I like it. It's all right.
Yeah,
it'll
it's
do.
nice.
Now, are you finding yourself like forcing it to get it under 3 minutes, or like is it just like now you're kind of?
Depending on the song, if I feel like it's, you know, a rockier track, or now that I have the band, I'm focusing more on like, okay, what can we do up tempo wise that's not what I've done in the past exactly. But if I'm just writing, it's typically like I wrote a song last night. It was 4 minutes by the time I was done, 4:12. So I was like, that's how long they are.
So you have a lot of songs that are ready to go, ready to record.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because you have 2 EPs out now.
I do.
And is there another one in the works? Are you considering a full-length album, or?
I would love to at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now this music industry in the world we live in, it's instant gratification, and I'm seeing so many artists come out with just single, and then sometimes they group them into an EP. And unfortunately, I can't get into, you know, the studio all the time and have someone produce and record it. It's me and my producer making all of our records. So it's the 2-man band lugging all the equipment and, you know, editing until my eyes bleed and his ears bleed. And, you know, so for us, I like to focus on a project at a time, and that's why I had the 2 EPs. But we've been talking about singles and things like that and branching out. So especially now that I have the band, I can just call the boys in and say, play your parts. We got to record it.
Yeah, that's interesting when you bring up, I guess, the current state of the industry. So on the flip side, how do you discover new music?
Great question. I am at a concert a week. I work at a venue, so that helps. But I tell people I'm doing my research. It's part of my job.
When we all go to concerts, it's half enjoyment, half classroom.
Absolutely.
Right?
You pick up, you know, especially if it's an artist you admire, it's maybe something about their stage presence, or even the thing that they have on their guitar, or the sticker. You know, it's like the weirdest things, or the way they sang a song, or how they interact as a band. Some of my favorite artists, like Paramore, they all like thrash their heads at the same time. It's like, you guys play on that. But yeah, so I go to a concert about once a week, and I'm very big into artists that are in LA and coming up. So I always try to go see the openers of whoever I'm going to see. I've seen a lot of people coming up. This great band called Max and the Moon that's from I think like the OC area. So they're now on Alt Nation. And I'm so proud because I was like, oh, I saw them 2 years ago.
I was there when.
So I love just finding artists like that. I get most of my music from TV shows. You know, I'm Shazamming. Like, well, who is this? Who is this? And then you find there's a cycle of certain people that they play. Ben Howard and these sort of artists. City and Color, Dallas Green is a huge influence, which I didn't mention before. So that's where I get a lot of my like singer-songwriter, and then my more mainstream stuff is radio, Spotify, or going to concerts.
Great.
Yeah.
There's a lot out there.
I was going to ask you, you were talking about recording, and how did you get yourself into that? I mean, you start playing guitar at, would you say 15, and you're into music. Did you start recording songs at 15? Were you sitting with GarageBand?
Actually, I recorded even before that. I have the most amazing cousins, my entire family, but cousins in particular that were in a band, and they actually built my amp that I use on stage. So if you ever see my amp, you can go to megnawatt.com and look at that. But my cousin Keith used to record me, and at 8 even, I have demos of us, like me singing a Backstreet Boys song. So I always kind of knew what recording was like, which I thought was a huge plus for me and something that really helped me, because that's part of why I picked up the guitar, because he would end up playing everything and he'd say, I can't do it all. So I was like, okay, and I discovered GarageBand at my school computers, and I was like, oh my God, I have to get a Mac computer. So I got one when I was like 13. I begged my dad, and no one had, Apples at that time. And I was like, Dad, please, there's this thing called GarageBand. I can make my own music. And for the longest time, I was just using the guitar tracks or the drum beats. And I had used all of the the samples that they give you, and I was like, oh, I gotta play an instrument now. So yeah, I started with GarageBand. I would record myself. For my first demo, I had the songs all mapped out, what I wanted the drums to sound like, the strings, the bass. And when I showed my producer, he was like, this is great. We can really, develop this and play real instruments. And he's a saint and he plays everything. He's a drummer, but he plays anything I force him to. Yeah. Drummers are, they're unicorns. But,
see, I told you.
Yeah. But he took all of my notes from GarageBand and did that. So yeah, I'd like to say that I'm pretty proficient in my recording knowledge, which I'm pretty proud of because it takes a while to understand all of it.
And now what do you record on?
We record on Pro Tools.
Right on.
And he has preamps and analog mixers and things that just make it sound super rich. But yeah, I love knowing about it because I take a lot of pride as an artist in being able to say that I can understand what I'm doing. I'm not just going in the booth and, singing my line. Like I know what things were using, compression and whatever we're using.
You can contribute to shaping your sound.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it helps me to vocalize with him so that he knows, because if I'm saying that thing is, with the...
Can you adjust the thing?
Can you make the thing with the just down? So if I can say, I think the compression is a little high. What's the EQ like? Yeah,
I think that's a really, really good point that you're bringing up, especially for the young musicians coming up. I mean, yes, there's the learning of the instrument and the creative part of it, but on the technical side, it helps you communicate to others what your vision would be.
Totally.
And especially if you talk about there's too much reverb, there's
Absolutely.
right and compression, etc. There's so many things that basically we all have heard through all the music that we listen to, and there are reasons why they sound like that, and it doesn't take too much effort to understand what tools are being used.
Yeah.
So just a little effort.
Even if you can't, express exactly what you're saying, there are times where I'm like, why does it sound echo? And he's like, okay, the delay is a little too long or too up. And I'm like, oh, okay, that delay. Now I'll remember that for next time. It's not echo, it's delay, So anything, yeah, absolutely, just so you can communicate with your producer, and
right,
because you have a vision in your head as a musician, you want to get that across, and if you can't speak about it, then it's difficult. And
especially that now that the tools are all in your laptop and they are there, and if you learn how to use even in the basic approach, that will go a long way. So Absolutely. I think it's really, really good you're learning that and being able to communicate that.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of experimenting also whenever you're doing, you're recording, or is it pretty much like what you've finished writing with your guitar and singing, you have it all finished? Is that pretty much what you want to record?
Yeah, in the past I've had the songs done for these last 2 EPs, but recently we've been, messing around. We were out one night, it was like midnight, and we're like, do you just want to go home and play music instead of staying in this bar? We're like, yeah, let's do that. So we just went and jammed on the guitar and started singing whatever comes into my head. He's like, that's the song. I'm like, I really want to change those lyrics. He's like, we're not doing it for that. I was like, okay, fine. So
do you find with your producer that he has to perhaps say, no, this is ready, or this isn't?
Absolutely. I say it's a love-hate relationship. He knows me better. I know him. You can't work with someone like that and not want to strangle them at the same time. So there are times when he is saying, the drum beat is really annoying me because he's a drummer, and I say, I think it sounds really good, and then there's times that we have to redo it. I have to sing the whole take. I have to do it all over again. No, what are you talking about? That one had so much soul. So it's good to have another set of ears there for sure. And since I trust him, over the last two EPs that we've done, we understand how to reel each other in.
I bring up that point because I think it's a great thing that you're talking about this, because there are a lot of let's say, quote unquote, self-produced artists that they approach their recordings and they want to self-produce it, but there are times when you need that outside opinion, and of course I guess the trick is finding an outside opinion that is worthy to have.
Yeah,
but I think a lot of self-produced recordings suffer because they don't have that. You're too much inside your head as an artist,
Totally. I wouldn't
That is
let
great.
anyone listen to my music for years. And even through the first EP, I was like, nope, not till it's completely finished. And with this second one, we ran into technical difficulties, as you do when you're recording on a laptop in someone's bedroom and the roommates are coming home, hey, in the middle of your recording. So
Of the best take of the
yeah,
night.
you're like, oh my God. So for that one, I worked on, and it just wasn't getting to where I wanted it to be. And I was around enough musicians and enough people that I trusted that I would say, hey, what's wrong? Doesn't it feel like it's missing something? And people pointed out a few things to me that I actually did take their advice. So you have to trust people, but you have to find those specific people.
And that could be a process.
Absolutely.
Yeah, weeding out.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you feel like singing another song for us?
Sure.
All right, let's do it. So, Alexa, what's the name of this tune?
This song is called Shattered, and it's also off of my new EP, Heart-Shaped Clock. And this was the catalyst for Heart-Shaped Clock, so there's a lot of meaning behind it. I am tangled up in you. Lie in bed and check my phone. The messages are all read through. Can understand why I'm alone. 'Cause I didn't suffocate you. No obligation made to. Didn't treat you like the rest. Didn't want to press you. Didn't even try to test you. But I guess I came in second best. Tears fall down from my eyes. I'm not the girl who sits and cries, so I push them back and say I'm over you. But I'm shattered. All the dust is settled now. Made my peace and let you go. But it's just my luck to see you around. Back and forth we swing like a yo-yo. 'Cause hindsight is 20/20. Guys out there are plenty, but you still shake me to my core. And I should have seen this coming, 'cause you've always been prone to running. But I can't complain, I came back for more and more and more and more. Tears fall down from my eyes. I'm not the girl who sits and cries, so I push them back and swear I'm over you. But I'm shattered. little,
I hope you
sad,
remember.
depressing song to bring it down.
I hope you remember us when you're on world tour.
Ah, thank you.
That
Of
was
course.
really, really, really impressive. Very
My
nice.
first podcast.
Cool. Well, you're in for the lightning round.
Oh, love it.
We're just
Bam.
gonna, shoot off
Put
questions
on
for
the
you?
spot.
Here we go.
Yeah, nothing too bad.
It's like Jeopardy. Do I have to answer like what is? No?
In question form.
Yeah.
We're not that quick to keep up if you start pulling stuff like that on us. We're gonna be like, are you asking
Come on,
us?
come
No. All right. I guess Chris, why don't you start this one?
All right. What's the first song that you ever learned
On guitar.
on guitar?
It was Redemption Song, Bob Marley,
Yeah.
which I had never listened to Bob Marley in my life. And my guitar teacher's like, it's easy, it'll break you in. I couldn't play it now, to be honest, but
But you did learn it.
that was the
Yeah.
first one. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Most recent song you chose to listen to.
I'm loving the new Dead Weather song. Something I feel. I can't remember the title. Jack White.
Yeah.
Okay, how's this? What song do you like that you don't really want to admit to?
I am a massive Jonas Brothers fan. Nick Jonas. I just have to get it out there. When I was 14, I was like, this kid is uber talented. And he can just write a melody. Like anyone that can write that hook, I'm jealous all the time. Oh, that's his song. Sorry. Go ahead.
Which artist would you most like to perform or record with? Now, this could be living or,
Okay.
our past brothers and sisters.
Oof. So hard. I think I'm going to have to go with Alanis.
Did you hear that, Alanis?
Yeah, Alanis, please.
We know she's listening.
Yeah.
She's actually tried to get on here a couple
She's
of times,
been
but we've had to
banging
bump
the
her.
door down.
Yeah, we've had to bump her down a couple of times. Okay, which band that's no longer around would you like to have seen live? Not going to happen. They're gone.
I would really, this is not a band, but love to see Michael Jackson live. That's one thing I'm super bummed that I missed out on, for sure.
Right on.
Yeah.
Pizza or tacos?
I'm a vegan, so neither.
That's a first.
Francis,
I know.
how dare you?
I know. But you know what? But we
I'm
learned
always
something.
the difficult one.
But we learned something new.
There you go.
All right. This could be at a show, and maybe at a show. Most embarrassing moment while performing or getting ready to perform, or
Not most embarrassing. I don't think when my jokes fail, that's kind of embarrassing. But then I try to be like, well, that was awkward, and then they laugh at that. Or just like awkward is when the guy you're singing the song about walks into the room. You're like, oh, that's
What's up, dude?
Yeah.
Do you
hey.
keep going?
Yeah, I usually call him out at the end.
Do
And
you
be
change
like,
the name or anything like that, or you just go?
I don't use names.
Oh, there you go.
As John
Well,
Mayer
there you go.
once
You
said.
could put a name.
I
in
bet
No.
you think the song was about
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
Your
so
sweet-
No, John Mayer once told me, you never want to give someone not me, I watched it on TV, but you never want to give someone the satisfaction of knowing that you wrote a song about them, that they
Even if they know?
hurt you that much. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's
Good
that's
advice.
my mentality behind it.
Good advice. I got to
So-
scratch all those names out of those songs I've been writing.
Was that after Taylor wrote Dear John?
I think it was pre the Taylor Swift era. Yeah.
Well, Alexa, we had a great time. We could go on forever,
Yeah,
literally.
why is it over?
But you know what this means, though? You're just going to have to come back.
Any day
Yeah,
of the
you gotta
week.
come back.
Okay.
I will clear my schedule.
Okay, because
So
we
will
do
we.
have time restrictions on on
Nah.
recording. So yes, definitely we'll have you back. Now, is there something you want to promote, like an upcoming show or?
Website.
Yeah, you can check out my website, www.alexamerrill.com. Or my new EP, Heart Shaped Clock, is available on iTunes. And yeah, I'm playing in the LA area all the time, so make sure you check that out and come see a show.
Absolutely. In fact, I think we're going to make it out to a show of yours, and
Yes, please.
we're going to have to show that support.
Definitely,
Absolutely.
definitely.
You guys
For
can
sure.
play one time.
We'll be
You'll
there.
be the band.
Oh,
I
for
was
sure.
hoping you would ask. I
There
was
we
hoping you would
go.
ask. I play
There-
drums, by the way.
Yeah,
yeah.
Did you play drums?
I do. I'm the unicorn. Remember?
yeah.
I have a didgeridoo.
Right?
So yes, we'll definitely have you back, and
Awesome.
everybody take a listen to her music and definitely check out iTunes, get her EP, check out her schedule for performances. What do you say, fellas?
Yeah. Just remember to try to spread the word about us too, please. Tune Up and Jam, tuneupandjam.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Tell a friend, just one friend, it would be nice. And email us. You want to come on just like Alexa did? Call us or email us at podcast@tuneupandjam.com. We are also www.tuneupandjam.com. Facebook, Twitter. All of it, Tune Up and Jam. So just, do what you got to do. Get a hold of us and come in and be like Alexa and just blow us off our feet. Mm-hmm. All right. I think that's about it. What do you think?
Yeah. I want to give a quick shout out, though.
Go ahead.
I want to give a shout out to Frank, and I want to give a shout out to Chris. We're two young cats when I was just a little bit older. They're not young anymore. They're old, but they listen religiously. So Frank,
awesome.
Chris, and they're still out doing it. Both piano players, fabulously talented.
Frank and
Keep
Chris.
it up, boys.
Cool. All right. We're out.
Out.